Let's start with a warning from Warren Buffett. He's looking at the U.S. commercial real estate market and seeing a massive trillion-dollar storm brewing on the horizon. His longtime business partner, Charlie Munger, echoed the exact same sentiment shortly before he passed, pointing out that American banks are currently stuffed full of bad property loans. The trigger for this crisis is something you've probably noticed in your own city. The pandemic normalized remote work, heavily reducing daily commuting and hollowing out downtown cores across the country. As a result, massive, once premium office buildings are now sitting virtually empty. But an empty floor plan means something much worse than a few wealthy landlords losing rent money. There is a $1.4 trillion wave of debt tied to these buildings, and because of a hidden trapdoor in how they are financed, the ultimate financial blow is going to strike the rest of the economy. When an average person buys a house, the rules are highly predictable. You typically lock in a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, keeping your monthly payment the same for decades. You also sign what is known as a personal guarantee. If the housing market crashes and your home's value drops below what you owe, you are personally on the hook for the difference. You can't just toss the keys to the bank and walk away. Billionaire developers operating in the commercial real estate space play by an entirely different rulebook. The entire industry relies on two specific financial mechanisms. When interest rates are low, these rules allow developers to scale aggressively. But when the economy shifts, they turn commercial properties into highly volatile liabilities. Commercial loans reset to current rates every 3 to 5 years. At 5%, rent income comfortably covers the debt payment. But when the loan resets today, the rate jumps to 9%. The debt payment violently shoots upward, blowing past the building's income. To make matters worse, that rent income is shrinking. As tenants decline to renew their leases and embrace remote work, the building brings in far less money than it did a few years ago. You have debt costs doubling at the exact same time rental income is dropping. The foundational math of the investment completely breaks. This brings us to the second mechanism, non-recourse debt. Unlike a homeowner, a massive commercial real estate firm typically does not sign a personal guarantee. If a building goes cash negative, the investment firm loses their down payment, but that's where their liability ends. They can legally walk away from the massive loan without any further penalty to their broader corporate assets. We are seeing this play out in real time. Recently, Starwood, a massive real estate investment firm, defaulted on a $212 million loan tied to a premier office building right here in Atlanta. Occupancy in the building had dropped to 60%. The property lost so much value that Starwood didn't even attempt to negotiate a rescue deal. Because the loan was non-recourse, they simply handed the keys to the half-empty building over to the lender. This is exactly what Warren Buffett meant when he noted that the buildings don't go away, but the owners do. The wealthy developers escape the trap, and lenders are left holding a massively overvalued, empty asset. It's natural to assume that the lenders eating these enormous losses are massive Wall Street giants that can easily absorb a bad billion-dollar loan. But this pie chart reveals the true distribution. The megabanks on Wall Street only hold a minority share of this debt. Roughly 2/3 of all commercial real estate loans sit directly on the balance sheets of small, regional, and community banks. It is these local institutions that are standing in the direct path of this $1.4 trillion wave of toxic debt coming due over the next 24 months. Because the debt is heavily concentrated at the local level, a billionaire developer's failure is instantly transformed into a severe, localized banking crisis. While skyscrapers get the headlines, these regional institutions are the primary credit engine for local, small to medium businesses. To survive catastrophic losses on their commercial real estate portfolios, these local banks have to dramatically pull back on their everyday lending. The immediate victims of this pullback are the neighborhood bakery trying to finance a new oven, the local plumbing company needing a truck, or a small startup trying to make its first hire. When real estate moguls walk away from empty towers, the financial weight shifts onto the local banking system. This dries up the capital that neighborhood businesses rely on to operate, creating a quiet but significant drag on the community's economic growth.